This is the postgame show on Go Hills TV, powered by JBS. Russ W. Oker. Warriors win it 66-45 over Marshalltown. Our 20th win of the season. Another Tumble Job Corps Warrior win. Coach Plona and Enoch Kalambay joining us now. And we're going to open up with Enoch. Enoch, we were a little bit slow getting going. In fact, it took us 5 minutes to get on the board, but that didn't seem to faze us. Your thoughts overall on the game tonight?
The game, we played all right. Just we started really slow. We had no energy. We're not communicating on the floor. We're not playing as a team. Like, we're not as together as a family the first 5 minutes, and then we just starting to figure it out as the half we're going. But next time we should have just be ready to go as soon the ball gets up.
And what do you think, we have kind of the last few games, this has kind of been the thing, a little bit of a slow start, and then we turn it on. We've had very good second halves. Your thoughts as somebody out on the floor, what it's going to take to get a faster start, and because eventually it's going to catch up to us.
Mm-hmm. It's going to take a lot from us. We just got to make sure that every time before a game we come with the right mindset and we respect the opponent, the other team. We can't look at them and just think anything or badly of them. All the teams that we're playing are all good. So every time before a game, we just need to come with the right mindset, respect the other team, and make sure that we start the game with the right energy.
Well, one of the things that I've learned from Coach Hank over the last 3 years that he's always believes, from what I understand, is defense. It all starts with defense. Mm-hmm. So, Coach, you held them to 28.8% from the field. So that's usually makes good things happen for your team.
Yeah, I thought we really wanted not to let number 10 get going, and I think he was responsible for a 6-0 lead.
Yeah.
We only had 1 point the rest of the way. So we thought if we could hold him, that they wouldn't score enough, and that if he had 25, we would have some problems. So obviously, we don't want to allow 2 quick threes to him. And I thought the rest of the game we did a very, very good job on him. So, and then the second half we kind of made our run. I thought we got some stops, and this guy did a good job at rebounding the basketball, and then we took off and scored. So, I guess we're certainly all trying to figure out how we can play good defense, get the rebound, and play fast break offense for 40 minutes instead of a stretch of 10 to 15. And I think Enoch's right. I think that we've just, and I kid you not, in practice we had great energy, and I think we start kind of good, to be honest with you, and then we come to the games, and I don't know. We gotta obviously shoot. As the head coach, I haven't quite figured out exactly what we need to do to start off a little bit better. But yeah, this is a continuing trend. It seems like. So we're gonna work on that, but we'll try to. Enoch knows better than anybody. We'll keep trying different things, and eventually, when we find the button that works, we'll get there. So, the guys obviously defended very well. There's a couple. We had the ball in the spots we wanted to. I don't know that we got a ton of turnovers up from the full court pressure, but they certainly seemed to wear down. They were struggling to get back on defense late in the game, and that's kind of the point. They played 6 guys more than 5 minutes for Southeastern the other day, so we thought we could physically wear them down a little bit by playing a lot of guys and using our depth. And it might not have looked exactly like we wanted to, but I do think we ended up doing that. So obviously, pulled ahead, and they're a hard team to score on. I mean, they're huge. They're huge, and they had one young man that seemed to take about 8 charges. I only thought about 4 of them were charges. I thought the other 4 were a little tricky, but I might have voiced that. I was reprimanded for voicing that. That's a trend as well, it seems like.
Well, we seem to win. We seem to be a very good record.
Russ and Titus encouraged me to get technicals. That's bad advice. That's bad advice. I need to be encouraged the other way. But no, we stuck with it, and you're right. We won the game because we defended. They defended very well, but we defended well too, and we were able to turn some of those stops into points in the second half.
Well, we had 4 guys in double digits, and then Truth Harris with 9, so very balanced scoring tonight, which also a lot of times leads to success.
Yeah, no doubt. I guess 10 guys played double-digit minutes, and nobody played more than about 23, 24. So yeah, I think our balance and certainly helped out, and honestly, they're hard to score on. We kind of knew that going in. I almost didn't want to. I almost didn't want to show their defense because I didn't want our guys to hesitate. And at the same time, we got a couple charges, so maybe we should have hesitated a little bit more. At the same time, we got to play confident. Like confidence, togetherness, aggressiveness. That's the key to everything with us on both ends of the floor. When we do that, we impose our will on teams, and we don't do that. when we struggle pretty interestingly, and it really does not look too good. So, I think you saw a little bit of everything tonight. So, obviously, we have our, this is the only weekend off coming up. We gotta figure out how to get better the next 5 days. We have a huge test at Sauk Valley on Monday. It's a very important game for us. So we're gonna try to do everything we can to get better in these days in between and be ready to go Monday night.
Well, you did force 20 turnovers. You had 12 steals. Devontae Hall had some big steals.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on his performance?
No, he played hard. It was kind of intentional. We wanted to be aggressive off the ball. So whoever's on number 10 kind of needs to stay on 10, and the other guys we thought could really kind of cause some problems off the ball and go attack. We always want the guy guarding the ball to stay in front of the ball with his hands up, and we want the other guys to kind of go attack the ball and try to see if we can get some steals. So. Yeah, we did that decently. I thought Devontae did that. There were stretches where Ryan, Truth, and Don did that as well. I think Devontae's getting better and better. Honestly, I just want him to play more confidently. I think sometimes Devontae spends some time on the floor trying to figure out what to do, and I don't want him to ever. I'd like him to do the right thing. Second, Enoch's good at this. Second, I want him to do the wrong thing. And third, figure out what to do. You have to. The game is fast, and you have to take action. There's not enough time to figure out what to do. And the best players trust their instincts. They trust the first instinct that happens, and then if that doesn't work, they trust their next first instinct. It's not a second decision, but a second or two later, the game changes, and it's your next first instinct. So just like a lot of first-year players, trying to get Devontae and Trevi both to just trust their instincts a little bit more. Than they do. But obviously Devontae's, I think, getting better and better as the season goes on, and he's a major part of our team.
Well, this guy right here, Enoch, double-double tonight, 10 points, 10 rebounds, so nice ball game for you. I asked you about the team overall, but obviously, understanding your own performance, your thoughts on how you played tonight as a whole.
I think I played all right. I most definitely started really slow in the beginning of the game. I wasn't really... we can say engaged, and I wasn't really communicating. And then on the second half, I just decided to let it loose and be confident with my game and make sure to find my teammates, go for all the rebounds, and score.
All right. The Warriors get the win tonight over Marshalltown and run our record to 20-2 on the year. 66-45 is the final. You mentioned Sauk Valley on Monday. That's a good opponent. And then you'll have the Southeastern coming in the following Saturday with just a one game this week. And the weekend off. Any idea what the schedule will look like for these guys logistically?
No, not really. We'll probably take the middle day, so Saturday we'll probably take off in between, but we're going to work tomorrow and Friday, and we'll work Sunday and be ready to play on Monday. So, like I said, we need to get better as a team. I think if you get happy this time of year, sometimes I think part of our struggle is we try to just protect what we've done. Okay, we're good. Man, we got to play. Yeah, we got to play. You got to attack games. You got to attack days. You got to attack practices. And just to piggyback on what you just asked about his play, Enoch knows. he's sometimes it might not look this way, but I promise Enoch's one of my favorite players I've ever coached. And there's a lot of responsibility with that. That was Tyon Grant Foster. That's Enoch Kalambay. That's Antonio Williams. There's a group, and they're all the 2-year kids. And to me, we can't go without him. And he's, at Triton, for example, I know he scores early, and that's probably a little bit why you came out looking for your 3 tonight. It just looked a little bit different.
Yeah.
You don't want to force that, but even when Enoch's not scoring, I don't know what position Enoch is. Enoch is, when Enoch, the expectation is he should be the most impactful basketball player on the floor at all times. That's defending, that's talking, that's rebounding, it's scoring from time to time, it's moving the ball, it's being smart, it's leading us to respond to adversity and all that. So, no doubt, for a regular person, he played really good tonight. But no doubt, I wouldn't trade Enoch for anybody in the country. And don't get me wrong, there's other great players on our team. But there's always responsibility when you're a returner, when you come back. And we put as much responsibility on Enoch as anybody. And he's going to benefit from that. I think we hold him to a very high major standard. If he's just like Tyon, just like Chris Payton, just like Taj Anderson, just like these 2-year guys that have been very good for us, and Thomas Woltenside for sure. Enoch knows what the expectation is. And the expectation, and we talked about it last game, is to play as good as we could play. And there were some stretches where we did, but he's kind of the driving force that makes us go. And he's the guy that can guard anybody. He's the guy that can play any position. He's the guy that's willing to do the stuff that doesn't get public notice. I mean, don't get me wrong. And I love Don McHenry and Truth Harris and Ledoux LeCoux and David Jones and all these guys that have gotten some recognition. But, I mean, just when sometimes when his stats aren't super pretty. At Southeastern, he had about 4 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, I think. We wouldn't have come close to winning that game without Enoch. Like, he does so many things on the floor constantly that help us win. And he knows I think that, and I think that as he sits here, just like Javon Hadley last year, like, I don't think he's enjoying me talk about him like this, because it's about the work and it's about the process. And honestly, Russ, we kind of brainwash our 2-year players to think like that. So he's pretty, he fights it from time to time, but no doubt he's a guy we wouldn't trade for anybody. So I thought he was the key to getting us going in the second half, and the stats are what they are. But for sure, his rebounding, his pushing the ball, his defense, he can guard a 4-man, he can guard number 10 out there. He's literally guarding it, depending on the situation, every single player on the floor. So I think sometimes it's weird. Sometimes we haven't chatted a lot about this guy's impact, but to me, we need him to be the absolute best player in junior college if we're going to win a national championship. And again, all respect to Don and to Truth and to Ryan and to Devontae. It's hard to be the absolute best when you're 6'1", and that's the advantage he has, is he's a 6'6" guy that can do some of everything, and those are the guys that really need to raise their game. So I thought he raised his game in the second half tonight. That's why we played better, and we for sure, Monday's game is very, very important, and we expect him to be the guy out there.
All right, we'll be there bringing it to you from Dixon, Illinois, Sauk Valley on Monday. Warriors get the Ottumwa Job Corps Warrior win tonight, 66-45. That's going to do it for us on Go Hills TV, powered by JBS.
Go Warriors!